G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. We're here on the brand new expansion for Age of Empires 4. This is the Sultan's Ascend. Today we've got a wonderful matchup for you. An old civilization up against a new civilization. I'm excited. We're slowly bringing more and more of the older civilizations in. You guys would have noticed with my casts, initially it was just like new civ versus new civ all the time. Now we're kind of seeping them through. I'm sure eventually we'll just get back to old civ matchups, but until then, we'll enjoy this. Let's introduce our players for today. Spawning in the west of the map in the color red, playing as the Russ, we've got Balu, aka Numidan. And on the east side of the map in the color green, playing as the Byzantines, account name David Kim, but real name Puppy Paw. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Cliffside. This has got to be my favorite map in the new expansion. I tell you what, this map is definitely one of the best. And I'll tell you why. You spawn very close to your opponent. If you're playing the English on a map like this, look how far you have to go, okay? We go from here, we walk a little bit. Oh, there's the central sacred site. And we come down, and there we are. There's our opponent's base. It's so damn quick. So it can be very aggressive, but at the same time, it looks very easy to wall. You come into this and you're like, okay, well, I can just wall across the middle. Yeah, you can. And then you can wall down here. But the problem is, there is a lot of different spots to wall. And it means that your opponent can get behind you quite easily. And because of that, it can be problematic because you have to wall a lot of things and you got to try and keep track of all those different walls. So it makes it difficult. But already we see something curious coming out here. This is something I've been implementing in my own strategies for the Byzantines recently. It has been the early olive grove. So there's quite a bit of smart thinking that you can put into this. It doesn't look like Puppy Paw's done it here. Let me explain. So, as the Byzantines, you start off with 150 wood. 50 for the house, 50 for the mining camp, and 50 wood left over for a mill, or for a lumber camp, or for an olive grove. Now, the olive grove costs less than a standard farm. It only costs 60 wood instead of 75. And what that means is if you put 6 villagers on your straggler tree at the beginning of the game, you're going to get 60 wood. You see where I'm going with this? Essentially, my point is that you can actually utilize your 6 starting villas, just put them straight onto that straggler tree and get an early mill, or rather an early olive grove, and then that way you've still got that 50 wood for something else. Like maybe you want to throw down a lumber camp, maybe you want to throw down a mill, or maybe you want to throw down a mining camp on the stone outcropping and go for that early 2, 3, whatchamacallit, cisterns with the Mito build. So there's always an option for you to do that, but we see a Grand Winery coming out. I think we might have a second town center coming out here. Just from the fact that we've got 2 villages on the Grand Winery, I think this is going to be 2 TCs, which is curious because initially when this civilization came out, I remember talking about it with Kanoki, who's a really good theory crafter. And we were talking about the civ, and we said, like, the Byzantines just feel like a civilization that you want to go 2 TC on. Like, you need to go, like, Grand Winery, put it on the berries, and then try and go 2 TC and survive. It's the same as the Chinese, right? Like, you basically just want to survive 15, 20 minutes and then play their Imperial Age, and or late Castle Imperial Age, and it's a really good timing. And we tried to work out other ways to play the civilization. We said, okay, well, maybe, you could play it on 1 TC, go for like 3 early cisterns, or the 5 early cisterns, and then eventually get to Castle Age. And we tried to find it, but they just feel very slow. And I think slowly people are coming back around to this idea that maybe Byzantines is just a 2 TC civilization. Maybe that's just how you've got to play it. It's just about survival until you can get to that second TC, or once you've got that second TC up, just surviving. And I think that's kind of where we see the Byzantines sitting at the moment. It seems to be the most successful way to play. Anyway, age up's coming through on the other side of the map. It's going to be Balu with a Kremlin being thrown down. Nice little forward position he's got on this as well. Puts it on the stone. That's going to be scouted out by Puppy Paw. He's going to see this and know exactly what his opponent's up to. And this, of course, gives him confirmation of the 2 TC play coming out here. Both of these civilizations looking for that early 2 TC early. Of course, for the Rus, they've got that Kremlin, which helps them out. It's kind of like the Barbican for the Chinese. It just helps them. It disincentivizes offensive plays against them. It's like, you can attack me, but I've got a Kremlin. It's got that, it's got that trickle of militia coming through. It's also just got annoying arrow slits that will deal with you effectively. So, you really got to think about it. But on the other side of the map, the age up comes through at 450 here for David Kim. Very close to reaching that enough or that amount for the second TC. But you can see I wouldn't say he's a bit slow, but I know that there are Byzantine build orders where you can get that TC down at like 445. I think I've even seen like a 440. It gets pretty crazy how quickly you can have it. But second TC, where does he go for it here? He's got a number of options. He could look for the back down here near the gold. I think that's a pretty decent spot for him. He could also look towards the front out near the berries, which is exactly where he's going to put it. Just cover his food sources a little bit, because it's quite important here that these food sources stay online. If he loses access to these, he loses access to his mercenaries. He loses access to putting down farms on the other side of his grand winery. So I think it's important that he puts the TC here. One thing to note, though, is the gold is still a bit open. So maybe he could look at putting an outpost down here. We do always want to try and secure that gold when we're going for a 2 TC play, just because we are going to be behind when it comes to the army, unless our opponent also goes for 2 TC. Now, have a look at this. We got ourselves... Is this a double TC? Or is there going to be 3 TCs? It looks like it's just going to be the 2 TCs. With the archery range coming out, you would suspect it's just going to be 2 TCs for both of these players. And now, I mean, this is great to see. Look at this. Beautiful little Byzantine base. I love using the word beautiful when I'm talking about the Byzantines. Have a look at this. It looks like we're watching 3 TCs all stand next to each other. They look so damn good next to each other like that. But Barrack's going to be coming out. No real surprise here. He suspects that it's going to be knights on the way. He thinks that there probably should already be a knight out on the map somewhere, but he can't spot it. The early Lamette should be able to deal with the scouts pretty effectively here as well. And now, I love this. The walls in the back of the base. This is one of the things that I like this approach on this map, because often when you look at this map, you want to divide it in your head. You're like, I'm going to divide this map by 2. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw walls down the middle. I'm going to draw, you know, walls across here, and I'll draw walls across here, and I'll draw a wall down here, and then you do that up on the top side. You wall all the way up towards this northern crossing. And it's like, look how far away this is compared to this. This is just making total sense here, just walling at the back of the base, trying to control that narrative and say, you will not attack me from behind. You can try and attack me from the front, but we're going to try and keep that control under here. And that's exactly the right move. So very well played there from Puppy Paw early on at this stage of the game. But second Lamette is out now. He is gathering up that olive oil. Take a look at this, 650 olive oil. We'll be throwing down the mercenary house now. He's got a couple of options as to which way he could go. He could look to play javelin throwers, but I feel like longbows is actually the play here. Longbows feel like actually Keshiks could actually also make sense going into the Grand Winery. I really don't know. We're just going to have to wait and see, because honestly, devs have done a really good job of balancing it out. I think initially people were like, oh, you know, the longbow one is just by far the best one, because you get, what is it, longbow, Landsknecht, and Streltsy. And then slowly people have been like, well, actually, the javelin throwers are pretty good in some matchups, and then the Keshiks are pretty decent as well. You guys know I'm a big fan of the Keshiks. But Mercenary House coming up now. He's got the cistern here. Still only level 1 at the moment. Yet to go into that secondary level, but is adding in the second cistern. He's going to be waiting, and you can see the outpost is indeed being thrown down on the gold, rushing it up. Plenty of vills here. Wants to make sure that this gold does maintain its integrity. Mercenary House yet to click anything just yet. You can see he's really doing a decent job of keeping these archers back with the Lamette. And he's going to go into longbows. Okay, I think this is definitely the right play. Longbows feel like... the good thing about having longbows is just the more of them, the better it feels, right? Like, you always want to just be going for more and more longbows. Whereas with javelin throwers, if I'm at like 30 javelin throwers, that doesn't feel good, man. It's not nice having 30 javelin throwers, because they're all just going to right-click on an enemy Streltsy and just kill it, like overkill it, like it's got 110 health, and they do 650 damage. Nice little job coming in on this top side. The consequence of not putting that town center on the gold is that you expose yourself like this, and you can see he's going to have to be forced to come in onto the bottom. We'll be looking for that arrow slits upgrade, struggling at the moment with the stone. Has connected these 2 systems through the aqueduct network, and now we see longbows on the way in. You can see a beautiful control coming out from Baloo early on in this game. Has he gone for that 3rd TC? It doesn't look like it back home. It looks like it's just going to be the 2 TCs for now, and quite interesting style of play from the Russ. He's going for an infantry control strategy rather than any kind of cavalry on the field, which I guess is what you would expect from the Russ player. But now Lamette going to get caught out of position. Main town center firing down. Once the longbows are out, this should be shut down completely. Don't expect to see any kind of realistic attempt from Baloo. You can just kite all day with the longbows. Oh, excuse me. You can kite all day with the longbows. So it makes it really difficult to fight this. And I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, we see Baloo immediately looking to jump away from this this base. And this is a tough little spot to fight into, but just going into the longbows here is a really smart move. And now looking to push forward with the mill on the backside. Plenty of vills on gold. That to me is saying, I want to go castle age here, which is a smart move, considering he's managed to survive so far. And I think this is definitely, I wouldn't say it's becoming the meta, but we're seeing this more and more often, where players are looking to go for 2 TCs and go just a little bit of units, not too many, and then go castle behind it. Not naked castle by any means, but speaking of naked castle, look at that villager going to go down. She does have a textiles upgrade through. Actually, I take it back. It's not, no textiles. Lament and I moving forward. And just when I was talking about how you're not really going to be able to push the agenda with the longbows, or with the longbows on the field, you can see that the archers do indeed look to push the agenda. But keep in mind, with that second round of longbows due to come out here, it's going to give David Kim a very solid defensive position here, and it will mean that this will get cleaned up completely. He will maintain control of the gold. Balu about to click up. I'm suspecting he's probably going to go into the Abbey of the Trinity. Is it the Abbey of the Trinity? Abbey of the Trinity? I think it's Abbey of the Trinity. Abbey of the Trinity. There you go. It's been a while since we've seen this landmark. Of course, the other landmark has gotten a fair bit of play recently. The High Trade House. And immediately 3 stables thrown down around this as well. You can see he's gearing up for that castle age timing. Beautifully played at the moment from Balu, but I gotta compliment Papi Paw. Only losing the 1 villager in that, you know, when he was under significant pressure, held his cool, and it just looked like a really nice defense there. The fact that he only lost the 1 villain. Have a look at this. Balu on the north side just gonna be walling off completely. He says, we're gonna keep you out. I'm not gonna allow you to come onto this side of the map. And I think Russ may excel on this map just simply because your walls are just better, right? Like, you want to be throwing down palisade walls on this map. You want to be walling up like a madman, and the Russ are very good at doing that. They've got cheaper walls, they've got faster building walls, they've got stronger walls, and so naturally it just feels like a civilization that would excel here on this map. But age ups now coming through. Balu reaching the castle age. It's going to be the Abbey of the Trinity. Expect him to start clicking on warrior monks, on knights, on veterans. He upgrades very, very quickly, and there they are. Early knights getting upgraded to knights, archers getting upgraded to veterancy, and veteran archers. And now we see that Golden Horn Tower coming through. Now, this is where I will object slightly. Golden Horn Tower is definitely the right call. But one of the things to note is if you want to maximize the power of this landmark, you need with a capital N-E-E-D, you need to have all of your system network up, or at least 4 out of 5. You want 4 out of 5, and that's because the difference between the level 2 system and the level 5 system is like the level 5 system is like 12 villages, whereas the level 2 system works out to be something like, I think it's 6 villages equivalent. That's the equivalent gather rate of the units that are being produced here. You know, if 6 villages were collecting resources and you were turning those resources into units, that's how many are here. Whereas with the level 5, it was 12 villages. So you get a really good return on that by going into that higher level system. But now coming through, it's going to be the longbows, taking quite some time. 1 minute 45 seconds there. And have a look at the wall coming up on this south side. He's walling out everything. Curious that he went for the walls in these positions here and didn't take them in a little bit further, because it feels like a map that you can definitely get some solid walls up close to your enemy. You could even go like quite aggressive with them, but I guess if you do go aggressive with the walls, it's just going to invite your enemy to attack you even more so. Whereas these ones, they're kind of far back, and I don't even know if Puppy Paw's scouted this out yet. You know, he seems quite happy just chilling out in his base for the moment. He's got the longbow mass building, and I'll be honest, there's a strategy I've been thinking about with the Byzantines recently, and I want to see if Puppy Paw is going to be going for it today. Because there is a really cool mechanic that's available to the Byzantines, and the only reason I'm aware of this is because of Konoki, once again, the theory crafter, really good theory crafter. He said if there's a reason that you want to go fast Imperial for the Byzantines, it's because of the cataphract. The cataphract get access to a special technology called Numari, and that technology allows them their charge to deal extra damage, or rather, the units that the charge hits, it does extra damage, or they receive extra damage. And so his theory was you could play Byzantines, go for fast Imperial, and from there, utilize the cataphract charge with the damage increase with longbows. He said it works out to be a 56% increase in damage from the longbows. So the idea is that you want to spam out longbows as much as you can, use the cataphracts to deal that extra, or to deal that modifying damage. Nice little raid coming through. And then from there, you've got these longbows that are hitting like absolute trucks. On top of that, your longbows, when you go for the foreign engineering company, unlock their arrow volley ability. which means that they've got an extra 70% attack speed. So you've got incredibly hard-hitting longbows that also shoot really, really fast. So that was his theory about, you know, Byzantine fast Imperial. If there's one thing you want to go for, it's that. And you want to kind of play this kind of style that Puppy Paw's playing now, where it's like you're realistically just playing a 2TC style of game, playing defensive, building up your farm economy, not really leaving your base, not really looking to be aggressive. As I say that, David Kim is pushing out now, heading towards this relic. Just wants to guard it up for the moment, I suspect. You can see that he's got the Grand Winery out, and he's got a rally point set towards this relic. So expect to see a Monka coming out shortly. Keep in mind, any relics deposited in the Grand Winery will give you that olive oil. Let's switch it over to see the income per minute now. We're at the 15-minute mark. It's about term time. Does take out that Warrior Monk as well. And so now Ballo, he's starting to stack up the gold. No sacred sites taken yet, but the numbers are building. Mangonel is out. Nice little walls up in the middle here. I love it when players look to do this walling on both of the sides, and we can hear that sacred site being triggered just for a second right there as the first of the palisade walls begins to go down. Keep in mind, it's got half the health of the Russ palisade, the palisade walls for them. But yeah, essentially that's my thinking, you know, because I've stolen that thinking off Kanoki, so shout out to Kanoki, but that to me makes a lot of sense if you're going to play that way. You know, utilizing the longbows. We've actually seen Puppy Paw do a similar strategy with the English before, where he just went for a whole bunch of longbows, went Imperial Age, got elite upgrades, got incendiary arrows, got +3 ranged attack, and looked to just dish out damage in that front, and did so very, very well. But now we start to see David Kim moving back with the last relic on the map. It's going to be 2 against 3. Looks like Baloo's going to be trying to catch him off guard. Plenty of Lametanai here have got their veterancy. And it looks like Baloo's going to realize, you know what, I probably can't take this fight. He could look for a Wallow. And look at the reinforcement. My lord, look at the reinforcements of longbows. 28 longbows on the field right now. Sorry, is this guy playing the English or is he playing the Byzantines? Hold on. That's a lot. And, I mean, I'm starting to get excited. Are we seeing it? Are we literally seeing it right now? Because, as I said, this is... If I think there is a way to go a fast Imperial on this civilization, it is that. That has got to be the strategy. The question for me is whether... Look at this. Look at this. It's lining up. It's lining up perfectly. The question's going to be whether he can connect those dots with the cataphract. Because that's the key in the unit comp. You go longbows, you're spamming out longbows non-stop, you get them onto the field. The key is the cataphract, because the cataphract enables you to deal that extra damage through the charge when you've got that Numari technology research. So I know that there's a lot to process there, because there's like 5 different levels to it, but you guys get the picture. Cataphract, good. Longbow, good. Making them together, also good. Look at the numbers. Look at the numbers. It looks like it's lining up. Both of these players playing out a very passive game at this stage. I tell you what, we've been casting a few games recently that have felt like no rush games. This is definitely one that you can add to the books. Slowly, these players are approaching the 100 villager mark. He's pushing out at the moment. David Kim, plenty of resources in the bank. Making Varangian Guard. He's up to 16 of them now. Looking to try and come through. Mangonels, Mangonels, Mangonels! Oh, it's a massive attack, but it looks like he manages to get through largely unscathed. The Mango's looking. He's just throwing it into the dust. Still manages to get good hits there. Oh, that was a close call for David Kim. Trapped between a rock and a hard place, or a rock and a hard place, or a rock and a hard place. Wow, that could have been really bad. Now looking to come back through. He's going to have to throw down an additional wall. He doesn't want to have to deal with these Mangonels. Expect to see Springalds in the queue any second. It is imperative that you get a Springled response out to these units immediately. You cannot allow these to sit uncontested on the battlefield for the next minute, the next 2 minutes. Siege Workshop. Oh, I don't like it. It's in the front of the base. It's got no system connected to it. He will not have that additional military production speed and being so close to the wall. No, 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 no. Puppy Paw, don't do it. Don't do it. No, no, no. It's too... Oh, he's connecting it. Is it connected, actually? Is it? I don't think it's connected. It doesn't look like it's connected. This could be really bad. But Baloo's going to give him a little bit of time. And he throws the wall up behind it. Oh, I tell you what, Puppy Paw, you are so lucky. You are so damn lucky. He could have really punished you right then. With that Siege Workshop coming up in that position. Oh, that was dangerous. That was super duper dangerous. He could have lost it all right then. All right, another attack on the south side. What's he got? He's got Varangi. He's got like a whole little AI attack coming through. Palatine School coming in. High Armory as well. Very interesting to see. I guess he's going for Palatine School because if he goes for Palatine School, he can spend all of his olive oil on longbows. The problem is, if you do that, then you lose out on the unique upgrades for the longbows. I'm pretty sure. I might have to double check that, but I'm 99% sure that's how it upgrades. Because if we check here from David Kim's perspective, click on one of the villages. Foreign engineering company. Mercenaries receive various unique technologies from their original civilization. So I think that's essentially it. That you're going to be missing out on that. But now the age ups come through. Imperial Age has arrived for Balu. We can see the upgrades on the way. It's going to be roller shutter triggers for him. Expect to see the unique upgrade as well. Bandit Arms, of course, going to be the main one that we're going to be looking for here. Just allows a little bit more flexibility in those siege warfare fights. Now Balu reaches the Imperial Age as well. Wait, what? Oh, the Palatine School came up first. Never mind. I was, wait. Did my UI just bug out there? I swear I saw Balu age up first then. Maybe I'm going crazy. Somebody go back, watch it again. Let me know. Am I going crazy? Maybe I am. Roller shutter triggers coming through for David Kim immediately, as you would expect. Look at the Varangian guard number starting to build up here. It's up to 20. 3 Lance Connector out as well. And now the scouts with their Imperial garb coming out here. Beautiful little units. I love the Russ units. Some of the best looking units in the game. Except for the Men-at-Arms. They got this weird green shield. I'm just not a fan. I just don't like it. Have they got it here? Do we check? Yeah, they do. Yeah. Not my style. Not my style. If I was a Men-at-Arms and you handed me a green shield that looked like that, I'd be giving it back to you. I'd be like, I'll take the crossbow, thanks, mate. Not interested. Not a green shield like that, but more and more upgrades coming through. It looks like we're going to have elite contract on the way to upgrade all of these units to elite status. We've also got elite crossbowmen and greased axles on the other side. Not to mention chemistry. A little bit of chemistry action for you. That's going to help out with his bombards and his Streltsy. Keep in mind, he does have Streltsy in the queue at the moment. Both players approaching that 200 population. Have a look at this. David Kim with a significant advantage when it comes to the military pop here. Up by about 22 military population at this stage of the game. Granted, a large amount of this is just going to be your longbows. It's just going to be your Lamanni. So it is a little bit cheaper. Have a look at that. We got a mangonel emplacement on the way as well. Where's he going with that? Down here on the town center, on the outpost. There we go. Keep going to be denied. He's managing to secure plenty of gold down here with this keep. He secures 8k of gold with this keep. Mangonel emplacement definitely going to help him out as well. Sacred site captured in his favor. Keep under pressure. I wouldn't be surprised if you see a siege workshop thrown down and like just a trebuchet. A single treb comes out and just slowly works on that keep. Just force your opponent to trickle resources at it. But now, in the middle of the map, Puppy Paw begins to build beautiful barracks. Beautiful Byzantine barracks. There you go. Let's get that real alliteration coming through. Up to the north, the Monk's going to start working on that capture. Sacred site exposed. Still yet to rebuild this Russ wall on the top side of the map. And players still posturing for it. And he's going to do a little bit of a split right now. I didn't realize Puppy Paw was a gymnast. Units on the south side, units on the north side. Make your mind up which way you're going to go. Streltsy in queue as well. Hello. How you doing? A little bit of longbowman action. Streltsy v Streltsy. Look at the income that we've got at the moment as well for the olive oil. Sacred site mango shots go a little bit wide. Triple mango out. Lots of Men-at-Arms here. He's going to be going into it, but it doesn't really make sense. He's only got half of his army here, so taking this fight is not the smartest move because, I mean, realistically, you're probably up against 75 to 80% of the enemy's army. Big shots from those mangoes. You need to have Springles. And now he's going to get forced to the top of the map here. This could be really bad. He's going to try and do a little bit of a loop around, but he will be split. This is going to be a massive mistake from Puppy Paw if this does not get rectified. He needs to find a way to come back in. Look at the splits that he's got going through here, though. Units all over the map now. Looking towards the middle as well. Keep in mind, there is a keep on that south side. No keep in the center. Elite upgrade comes through on the Men-at-Arms. Elite army tactics as well. Both of these players really preparing for the final battle. You can feel it coming through as these players approach the center. It's the mango difference. It's the siege difference right now. The fact that Puppy Paw has got 2 Springles in queue, had 2 Springles in queue, but has no Springles on the field. How do you respond to this? You have to get Springles out. You have to be going into mass Springles. And there's a part of me that thinks maybe it might even be worth just getting rid of a couple of units. Maybe just delete a couple of Lamanni, get them out here. Because the problem that you're going to have is your opponent is taking more and more of the map, and there's not much you can do to respond to it. You do not have the ability to challenge their siege. And now attack in the back of the base. This could be exactly what he's looking for. This is how he's going to get that population back in his favor. Didn't make that cataphract connection, though. That's important to note. You know, we talked about that as an option early on. Hasn't gone into a single stable, at least from what we've seen. Not a single stable on the map. That push coming through. He's trying to find a way in. The keep will go up, and he's going to have to head back. There's the first of the Springles. Roller Shutter Triggers is already through. Doesn't have greased, or does have... that's sad to see. Sad little Springled right there. Did you order a Siege Workshop? Did you order some Springles? Good news, guys. We got some for you. We got some. Greased Axles on the way through as well. That'll help him out. But throwing away all these units. You can see Ferengi and guarding queue as well. Hopefully he's going to be able to get out the Springleds, because the problem that you're going to have is as your units are dying, they die one by one. And when they die and you've got one population available, what happens? Your barrack says, oh, you've got an 11 queue. I'll just pop that bad boy out for you. And now you're back to max and you lose another unit, and that happens again, and it keeps on happening again. And then all of a sudden, you know, your Palatine School's helping out with a little bit of it. So it's tough. Now, Palatine School offers training bonuses to Lament and Varangian Guards, Cataphracts, and Chirosophons. A 30% chance to also spawn one at the landmark. So ideally, you want to be spamming out those units. It's kind of like disincentivizing you away from anything else. But those are all pretty decent units. So I wouldn't be surprised to see if those are the units he's going to stick with. I'd love to see, as I mentioned before, the Cataphract bonus together with the longbow really gives a lot of power in the late game. Or at least that is a suspicion. Now taking the middle of the map. You can see even up towards the top side, Baloo now taking away some of the gold away from Puppy Paw here. He's got gold on the south side, 1,500 here, another 4k, so a total of 5.5k secured. Also, you'd argue that this one's pretty secure as well behind that stone vein. It's got the gold in the middle. I love this map, and I love the way that it's divided this way. It makes for such fun fights. Or in this case, no fights. Players still really yet to engage upon each other. And now the walls are just coming through. Is he going for a sacred victory? Surely he can't. The sacred site has been taken down to the bottom. There's the university finally going to come through for the Byzantine player. A little bit late, though. He's got access to a number of important techs here. Elite army tactics is going to be big. Incendiary arrows for his longbows. Could also look to be getting into siege works for the upgrade to his Springleds. That's going to be really important here, but now sacred site in the middle being taken. Villager on the north has neutralized that one. I expect to see that one taken shortly. And now the standoff begins. They're just kind of chilling out. I tell you what, I didn't realize coming into this game it was going to be a Mexican standoff, but geez Louise. Indeed it is. Springleds v Springleds, and you can see the number of the extra bit of health right there is going to make all the difference. Surviving with 4 health. That is the difference it makes when you go for siege works. That's why it's so important to pick up that upgrade early on in the Imperial Age. It changes the dynamics of these fights significantly. Both of these Springleds surviving on a very small amount of health. Now, to that south side still, we see this battle. And it's actually Baloo that's gone into the counterweight trebuchet and brought it down here. Definitely the right call. The Mangonel's emplacement's finally broken through this wall. It's going to start working on the next one, I suspect. Now, one of the things to note is when you're going for an infantry-based composition like this, one of the best things that you can do is try and trade with your enemy. Because what happens is the longer your enemy has the ability to build up siege, the more expensive their army gets, which means the more they're able to invest into their army. And that's a bad thing for you, because you're only getting this fight once. Now, granted, you're going to have reinforcements that are coming on the way, but the reality is you need to try and trade out these units as often as possible so that you're able to keep down... You can see right now, Puppy Paw's got a lot of resources in the bank. So ideally what he wants right now is to just keep on fighting, keep on trading out these units, making sure that his opponent is losing units as well. And then that way, you're able to replace them more efficiently than your opponent because you've got a better economy. That's the argument, essentially. Broken through the walls, though. We do now see... Could look for a wall along here. Maybe a little backup wall. Still these players just waiting, biding their time. Really, we are seeing 2 players too scared to commit to the fight. I think both players acknowledge that when the armies are this big, it's going to be really hard to rebuild so quickly. And there are ways, there are avenues through to the heartlands of both of the production for these players. On the backside here, Baloo's got plenty of production. The same over here for Puppy Paw. And now, the cleanup. The Lament Knight do a decent job. He's still only got veterancy on... Oh, there's the elite upgrade. It just literally came through right then. Elite upgrade comes through for the Lament Knight. He could look for a fight right now. Springalds do get picked off on the back. Mangoes get some decent shots off. He wants to avoid fighting around this area, though. Ideally, you want to try and break through a wall somewhere around here and then bring the fight to the opponent's base. The hard part is that you're going to be fighting in all these corridors. This is actually such a good map for Siege. I've just realized this might be the perfect map for Siege because of these corridors. They just prevent your enemy from really ever getting a good opportunity to surround. And I think that's what it is, right? Puppy Paw is waiting for Baloo to come into his base and say, come on down. Just come say good day. Just touch it. Just put the tip in a little bit. Whereas Baloo knows he can't. He knows that he can't do that because if he does, he's going to get surrounded. He's going to get picked off from all sides. And you can see the Puppy Paw is prepping that, right? There's units on all sides of the map. And now, with the Bombard looking to approach that south side keep. Keep in mind, the gold has already been taken here. So it's not like he's really losing access to much. Bombard emplacement is down there. And now the push through has come. This is what he was scared of. Baloo says, all right, you want to do it? Let's do it. Springalds on the back. Not a lot of numbers. Kairusafonts. Oh my lord, the Mangoes just getting absolute damage in against them. Springalds teeing off. The Mangoes on the back. Nice little dodge. Varangian guards heading on the back way, trying to find a connection with that siege. And you can see that they're just going to end up idling out for a little bit there. More Lament Knight. Streltsy as well. He's trying to find a way through, but you can see that the lack of Springalds on the back is really going to haunt him here. Where are the units? Where is the production? There's nothing in queue on this barracks. More and more siege coming out of these siege workshops. Kairusafonts also joining the fray, looking to find a way through, but the numbers still maintain. The triple Mangonel is still solid from Baloo at this stage, and he's able to just start nailing away at these units. You can see it almost took Puppy Paw by surprise. It definitely took me by surprise. He's got plenty. Battering rams are coming through the base, but where are the rest of the infantry units? The Bombard's here. Is that game? He literally just taps out after that quickly? Are you serious? That was all that he needed. Wow. Okay. Well, that was not an expected ending. A little bit anticlimactic. I'm not going to lie. That was a really strong build-up for the whole... I tell you what, that's 3 seconds that she is going to regret having. Wow.